that government of the people, by the people, and for the people
State your name,
shall
ma'am.
not perish from the earth. My name is Roberta Fox. I would like to express my concerns regarding the California primary on June 7th. First, I feel there was inadequate training for the poll worker training class. Many poll workers were not allowed to ask questions during the training and were left with questions that were not addressed. I was told that this is due to the very large class and that there wasn't time allotted. We did not have any hands-on training, nor did we have any time to look at any ballots, go over the machines, etc. The second item I wish to address is the debacle of another precinct literally committing election fraud and voter suppression. In Pasadena, where I was a poll worker, I witnessed the other precinct giving provisional ballots out versus asking the people if they were in the right location or if they had a ballot to surrender. They simply gave a provisional ballot instead of adhering to the rules, thus blatantly committing voter suppression and election fraud without regards to voters' rights. More than half of the voters stated that either their political party preference was changed, not by them, or that their vote by mail had been issued when it was in fact never received. They were therefore forced to do a provisional ballot.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next speaker.
My name is Nozomi Yamanaka. I'm a retired administrative law judge. On June 7th, I was a poll worker in Long Beach at the Leeway Sailing Center, and I observed many voting irregularities. The most egregious was the discrepancy between the number of Democratic and crossover Democratic ballots that we issued as opposed to the printout that our voting machine gave us at the end of polling. Basically, we had over 300 voters. We passed out 300 ballots. More than half of those were Democratic or Democratic crossover ballots. So there should have been at least 150 Democratic votes in the machine. However, the machine printed out that Hillary Clinton had 60-odd votes and Bernie Sanders had 40-odd votes, making only 110 or so. So it appears that there were at least 40 ballots that were not counted by the machine. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
My name's Craig White. I was a poll inspector at the Hollywood City Hall. One of the two things that I had noticed, which are a recurring theme, is people being changed without their permission to something other than a lot were lifelong Democrats that had never registered as anything else, who were showing up as American Independent, Peace and Freedom, or even Republican. And then the large number of people that came in that were vote by mail who never signed up for vote by mail, which we also had gotten some lavender pages of updates of people that were vote by mail like a few days before the election. And I had noticed that there were just a large number of them, and then it seemed to correspond with the large number of people who were actually changed without their knowledge, and they were forced to vote provisionally, as were the people who were on the party. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
My name is Christine Nguyen. I was a poll clerk in West LA at Barrington Plaza. My experience as a clerk, I experienced many, if not all, of the aforementioned issues. Regarding the issue of the missing password, my inspector was not aware there would be a password, and it did not arrive until 8:30 via robocall on the county-issued cell phone. The problem being, also being that my fellow clerks and the inspector were either not properly trained, and one of them had not bothered to attend training at all, and insisted on giving voters a provisional ballot, despite the fact that you could just slip the ballots into the ballot box. On behalf of a friend who could not be here today to talk about her experience as a vote-by-mail voter, I'd like to recount that story. She received her ballot via mail very late, I think the Friday before primary day. She opened it up and someone had already written on the privacy sleeve in the writing section for President Hillary Clinton. And so she brought it to her polling precinct and to exchange it for a new ballot, and when she got there, despite being at the correct precinct, was not allowed to vote a normal ballot and was given a provisional.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hello, Dominic Menanez, 330001A. Our most recent California primary displayed how much the system needs to change. Countless rules and additional useless procedures are suppressing our voices as citizens. Our current system is scaring away voters of all generations. As a poll inspector, I could see and feel the frustrations of voters as they were not able to vote for the candidate they wanted, or they were kind of forced to vote provisionally. This California election was clearly unfair, unorganized, and it was not free. Poll inspectors like me get crappy wages for the extra time we put in, and we're paying the price right now with our time here. I don't even know how my precinct coordinator got hired. Does the county just hire anybody? Hire me. I trust that the board will do their jobs, conduct investigations, do everything in your own power to win back the trust of California voters who felt cheated. We don't care about associating with parties. We're all human. We're all one. We need more than change. We need a revolution of the mind.
Yeah!
Melissa Michelson, Jacqueline Rocha, Ryan Lopez, Todd Jones, Ruth Sarnoff. Again, just remember to state your name as you begin. Yes.
Good morning, County Board of Supervisors. My name is Ryan Lopez, and I am a student at the University of Southern California. Now, on election day, I went with a friend to their polling location, and while he was waiting to register, I observed a woman who was told she was not on the voter rolls for her precinct and that she'd have to vote provisional. Now, before that poll clerk could give her a provisional ballot, I suggested that she check the other voter rolls at this precinct, as this location had multiple precincts. When we asked at the table for precinct 9001739A if we could check the roll of voters, we were informed that that precinct had not received, that the county had not delivered an entire roll of voters to that precinct. Furthermore, the poll inspector let me know that after calling the county for over a week regarding a vote counting machine issue, he still had not received an answer and therefore had a broken machine on election day. So this is simply unacceptable, and I hope that the county can continue to work with us, the citizens, to make sure that we can come up with solutions so this doesn't happen again in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hi, my name is Todd Jones. I'm a physicist at Jet Propulsion Laboratory. I worked as a exit poll volunteer in UCLA, and we questioned all of the voters coming out of that polling location to see how was their vote. And 3 out of 4 of them carried the pink slip, which indicated that they had to use a provisional ballot. And the exit poll results, although they're preliminary, are indicating that the percentage of votes for Hillary are 10% to 30%. And this does not compare well against the 55%, which has been stated as the California result. A little bit more time with the students coming out that had to use provisional ballots had to do so because the so-called blue list were never delivered to the poll.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Melissa Michelson, and I'm a delegate-elect from District 27 for the Democratic National Convention. I'm here before you to request that you authorize an investigation on the effectiveness and reach of the robocalls, videos, and emails that the Registrar's Office supposedly got out to notify no party preference voters of using crossover ballots instead of provisional ballots. On May 23rd, we delegates from 27 sent a letter to him describing our concern of the upcoming election about the use of crossover Democratic ballots in lieu of provisional ones. As Mr. Logan stated in his response letter to us on May 26th, NPP voters had been informed of options available to them. How many emails and letters were sent and what was stated on the letter? Did it, in fact, let NPP vote by mail voters know that they needed to bring their ballot with them to avoid a provisional one? Furthermore, many first-time voters did not have ID when they voted and subsequently were not told they had until June 15th, tomorrow, to provide it. When and how has that notice been sent? And can you please authorize an extension of that deadline to ensure maximum participation? We will be holding you accountable, and we the voters of LA County. Thank you.
Next speaker.
Ruth Sarnoff. Shame on Associated Press for declaring Hillary Clinton the winner on the day before the June 7th California primary election, and shame on MSNBC and CNN for grabbing the story and running with it. The story went global, and it all happened before a single vote was cast. AP impacted what happened next in very negative and misleading ways. To millions of new voters and viewers around the world, it sure sounded like the races were over. So what did happen next? How did AP calling the election before a single vote was cast manifest itself? People shared with me about the hoops they went through just to get registered. Some people weren't going to vote because they thought the race was over. I know because I was still out talking to voters on June 6th and June 7th after the AP release.
Thank you.
I have a written statement,
That's okay,
and I
you can
have it
submit
here,
it.
and I have 2 articles from the
Submit
Los
those, that's
Angeles
fine.
Times.
Thank you.
One by Kathleen Drucker, and now Lessons for November. Everybody should read it because it's a
Thank you.
distortion. It says it was a low turnout in California, and that was not true. We have millions of uncounted now.
Jacqueline Rocha, Michelle Ching,